pilfered, or okay, let's not say pilfered, because apparently they're working, but certainly we need to do something about our wage bill.
Here's the thing, Michael. A lot of Kenyans feel that we are overrepresented. There are too many offices, and those offices require funds to run them, paying salaries and so forth, and that's just more pressure on your pocket as a Kenyan.
And you know, even from a domestic perspective, a very simple lesson I was taught by one of my very good uncles is that if you want to become poor and to remain poor, now this is domestic, but we'll bring it to the national level.
Okay.
If you want to remain poor,
yes,
then make sure that your recurrent expenses are very high every single time.
Living beyond your means.
Living beyond your means. And recurrent means basically it's your utilities. You need to save something. So as a country, if our wage bill, our recurrent expenses are always so high,
right,
guess what? There's no money for development.
Okay.
Well, let me bring in the panel now and hear what they have to say about the wage bill. Bernard, you're one who is well versed with matters governance.
Yes.
Our wage bill never seems to be reducing. I don't know whether my uncle's lesson would apply in Kenya, where your recurrent expenses, I mean, from a domestic perspective, you try and ensure that things like rent, electricity, gas, fuel are not things that are, you're paying so much every single time. But that's what we seem to be doing as a country.
Yes, Mike, your uncle's advice is very, very applicable. When you look at the current, situation, most young people actually live beyond their means. They spend so much on normal things without really considering on development or saving. And it's applicable to our national, environment. Look at the counties. Up to now, there's no county that has set aside money for development. Most of the money that they received for this financial year has been spent on recurrent expenses, wages with the county governments and their staff. Looking at Kenya at the moment, there's need for a reduction in this wage bill because it's a very huge burden, both to taxpayers and, those people that are supposed to benefit from the services.
And it's coming at the cost of development. Because really the only way we're going to get ourselves out of this cycle is if we develop.
If we develop. But if we continue spending so much money on recurrent costs, then we aren't going to develop. Looking at the proposals by the Ufungamano initiative, I think there has been so much proposals. And they would normally come up with these good proposals, but implementation is the problem. There's proper mechanisms of how this constitution can be changed. If they really want the constitution to be changed, especially on areas that, on sections that are protected, they need to start collecting signatures. People can sign and, call for referendum the way Okoro Court is doing. Let them join the Okoro Court's initiative of Punguza Mzigo. Then, we see if we can have a referendum on those sections.
All right.
But, just proposals, talking is just, getting a lot of limelight. But at the end of the day, nothing is done. Because the president has already said that he has no time to run around the country talking about referendum again. So how are they going to convince the president to change his position and say, okay, there's need for these, amendments, or let us join hands as Kenyans and see if we can have these reforms. There are so much, and there are so many proposals out there on how, Kenya can do better, on how we can bring changes, but it takes me and you to start the initiative, to start
the ball needs to start rolling. Nerima, I don't know how you run your house, but are your recurrent expenses, over the top to a point where now you cannot buy yourself a dress, you cannot, develop yourself as a person, or even get into a business?
No. I'm actually really, really good with money. I like living within my means and saving.
Most women are quite good. Maybe we need a woman.
Organized. Completely organized. But on one part, I'll have to disagree with Bernard a little bit, because I commend the statement that they have made. And I have to recognize my pastor, Joseph Obwanda, who was speaking. And it's good to see the religious community speaking up about these issues, because the wage bill is too high. Yes. They've been silent, and it's good they're speaking up and they're coming up with solutions. Because what our politicians are concerned about right now is actually creating more seats. We're talking about a referendum for new positions instead of reducing that number of positions. So when you look at our country in itself, we are overrepresented. In those 290 constituencies, we could have less representatives. And when you even speak to officials, they don't even know each other in the house. They say that there are too many. Sometimes they don't even recognize that they're all honorables. They have no clue. And so that should be concerning for us. But also when we talk about our country, we're one of those countries that have amazing packages for our leaders. What did we just see recently with those who are not even in government but receive a retirement package? We talk about education, we talk about health. Again, it goes back to the taxpayer. So we're paying for something, one, we cannot afford, yet there are systems in place where when we talk about, I'm going to celebrate ALD, the Africa Liberation Day, which is on the 25th, and we talk about Thomas Sankara. And he was one of those leaders of Burkina Faso who foresaw the future of his people, where he actually first reduced the number of representatives in his government. He also reduced their transport. He was one of those leaders who had one car, which he would use with his vice president, and minimal security. And a lot of people had never seen that in Africa. And he also focused on agriculture and the people farming for themselves. And I know we see it in Rwanda where they clean once a month the community.
Can you tag along some of our leaders to that meeting, at least to get that information? Because I'm just thinking even in terms of our governors, look at how many cars they use just for them to move from their county maybe to wherever they're going. They have 3-4 vehicles. That's just the governor.
And the bodyguards, I mean, it's insane, and we cannot afford this. We honestly can't. They're about to break the country. And then when we see the corruption that's involved, as people, we really need to be concerned with our leadership and the direction that they're taking us.
Okay, well, it looks like Punda imechoka, Punguza Mzigo is the initiative that we need to have.
We need to cut down that over-representation, honestly.
Do you have a chase car?
One day. One day. At the rate that this nation is going, yes, at the rate that this nation is going, and like, I love that Julius Malema quote, if it's actually true. Why should young people that go to school or, you know, look for employment when you have this?
It's very difficult, to convince them that education is key for success.
Nah, not
when
anymore.
You have rich criminals all over. Yeah, supply maize, and you don't even have to plant. You don't even have to have a shamba to do it. Yeah, all you have to do is have a few connections.
Or an office. Okay, listen.
No, actually, with the NYS, you don't need an office.
That's the thing I'm saying. With an
walk
office.
into NYS, get a few tenders, walk out. This is Kenya.
60 billion runs into your bank. Maldives, here we come.
We're definitely in the wrong job.
All right, now we're asking you this morning, our Twitter poll question is, what has disappointed you most this week? Give us your honest feedback. Tweet us. It could be the NYS scandal. It could be this maize scandal that you are seeing. Whatever it could have disappointed you, let us know.